all right. Welcome back to another episode of the Critics Collective. Yes, you're not watching something old. Don't change your screen. It is me, Legacy Lingo. I'm here with the Dad Panther. I'm finally back doing a review, and I'm glad to be. It's been a minute. It's been a long minute, but I had to come back, especially for this one. We got something special for you guys. Today we're going to be reviewing Bullet Rush. Okay, and this is an independent film by Jonathan Armour out of Atlanta, and this is right now. It's available on Amazon Prime Video with your subscription. If you don't have a subscription, it's available for rent. And if that's not your jam, then just give it some time and you will be able to find it on Tubi. But we've had the pleasure of getting to it as soon as it dropped, and we're going to go ahead and give you guys this spoiler-free review. Let's get to it. Let's see. So the synopsis I have for Bullet Rush is Detective Simone Wyatt transfers to Atlanta after a controversial drug bust. She faces a new partner, local resistance, and discovers her estranged sister dating a crime boss she's pursuing. All right, that's actually pretty good because it doesn't spoil anything. All right.
Unlike the trailer, do not watch the trailer. I feel like the trailer. I watched the trailer after the movie, which I normally do, and this would have spoiled some things. I'm just saying. But I understand, like, you want people to watch it, so you give them the sizzle, and they'll go ahead and check it out. But if you're one of those that you want to be like, I don't know what's going on, it's giving a lot of sizzle.
So speaking of sizzle, let's go ahead and get right into it. This film, as far as my lows, all right, as you heard in the synopsis, this person was transferred due to, chaos in their city, a drug bust gone crazy, gone left. The way they built this character up, as far as to be the person that's just problematic and just does whatever they need to do to get it done. My low for this is that I actually wanted more of that. Okay, you start off the movie and there's a lot of stuff that's happening. There's a lot of layers, and then when that person gets transferred, the reputation comes with that person. So I was hoping that we were going to have now just this excuse of just nonstop, maybe a little bit of a montage. I understand time is an issue, but just like nonstop of her just wrecking shop, but getting results and then eventually work her way into the story that we got. But we didn't get that. So that was a bit of a low for me. Another low for me was that just as from the writing perspective, of course, we don't watch a lot of these independent films for accuracy, but I still see it. I still see it in a lot of things, and certain procedures, certain protocols, certain things as far as police officers go. It was sticking out to me. But of course, when you watch these movies, you just want the story, you want the entertainment, and it definitely gives you that. So I can't be mad at that. But I did want a little bit more effort as far as procedure goes and just policy and just execution of the police. But again, when you're working with a micro budget, you do what you got to do. I would have to say that that's probably the only lows that I have, actually. I wanted more from that character. You gave us this narrative of her being this just off the wall, do whatever it takes. And I wanted a whole lot more of that. I was like, okay, here we go. She's about to show Atlanta like why her reputation is what it is. And I didn't feel like we got enough of it. We did get some. Now, getting into my highs, I did like the fact this was fun. This was actually very fun. The effects and everything, the graphics, the things that they used, the plug and plays, they weren't great, but they added an element. And I love that the director, Jonathan Armour, wasn't scared to use it. I like and it worked within reason. Some of that stuff, yeah, it may have seemed exaggerated. It may not have been correctly proportioned, but it added an element. And I like the fact that he just didn't have any fear and he just put it all in there. He was just like, yeah, because a lot of times you watch a lot of these films, you get the sound effects, you get everything, but you just don't get anything more than that. And this was actually done within reason. A lot of the explosions, I'm not going to spoil what scene, but there was where we got multiple explosions and then one from a distance. And I was like, that wasn't half bad. You know what I'm saying? So I was actually quite impressed because a lot of times you get these films, people find out how to use something, or they find out how to use a certain skill or graphic, and they go crazy and they look for stupid reasons to use it. And I felt like it wasn't too much. They didn't try to overdo it. They did whatever they needed to just sell the point of the scene, and then just left it at that. So I love that. I actually thought the lead actress, I thought she was phenomenal. Also, if there's ever a biopic on TLC, she looks just like Left Eye to me. And I couldn't shake it. I was like, man, she just looked like Left Eye. That's anyway. That's a whole personal thing for me. But she's very beautiful, obviously. And I liked her as an actress. I liked everybody. I liked her energy. I felt like she elevated everybody's scene, even when other people weren't really strong. But most of the acting was fairly decent. There was some that was weak, but if she was in the scene with him, she elevated it. So I was appreciative of that. I was also very appreciative of the fact that this story, it was just straight to the point. It didn't try to add elements of incomplete stories. A lot of times we get some of these things where people just really want to force a lot of extra stuff, a lot of extra plots, and then sometimes that stuff is just not worth it. It's like, why are we cutting to this? This has nothing to do with the story. The story stayed focused on what needed to be on, and I was very appreciative of that. With that being said, I'm gonna pass it on to you to hear your lows to highs to lows, however you want to do it.
All right. So for me, one of the lows that I would go into is when I was looking at what the story was going to be, I'm envisioning Will Smith's character from Bad Boys.
Mhm.
And I'm saying, what if, which is still a good idea to run with, but what if that kind of character gets transferred and goes XYZ? And by doing that, it was a sense of realism that I felt that I lost. So one of the things, as far as like something I would say that was kind of a takeaway from it negatively, was I felt like the sense of realism that could have been there was lost. Meaning, this person, I get it, they're doing their own thing, but I didn't think what they did to get kicked off, to be honest, is bad. I was saying in my head, like, you weren't there. There's no body cam. There's no proof of what happened. So I'll just leave it at that. But you don't know what's happening to say that this person was wrong, because I didn't agree. But then this person's a badass every time. And I'm like, you can't talk to a captain like that. You can't talk to the person like this. And I get it, but I'm like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, you had that kind of, and you kind of have some elements like that, but they kind of knew what lane they had to stay in, whether they were a heel or a face. I felt like the realism on that was lost a little bit. The B-roll, I like when movies, especially independent, they take a chance of changing the format or doing something different. In my opinion, not every movie needs a B-roll that goes into the city or tells you what city you're in. There's subtle things you can do to kind of showcase that. You just left a Falcons game, or there's Falcon hats on. Before there was, you had hats from whatever city she came from, Philadelphia or whatnot. And I felt like those subtle changes will let you know, hey, look, okay, I'm in a different city. Because you look at certain movies, they may make Gotham look blue or dark. And then you go to another city and it's bright and it's cheerful. So I just looked at that time could have been to flesh out the story a little bit more. I do agree what Lingo said as far as I did want a montage. I did want something that would showcase her doing things to get back on the good grace for Atlanta PD. I wanted her, whether it was a little bit of luck or just the way she does it, where it's like, hey, we're supposed to do a steak out here. Like, I'm gonna eat this burger right here, or whatever she's eating. And the bad guy runs out and hits the car. And it's just like she did it on purpose because she already knew how to play that out. You can't change who she is regardless. So I felt like those elements would have really added to that character. I felt like the tone could have been brought down a little bit. And what I mean by that is a little bit into her character. Like I said, she was kind of up there, but also some of the action. It was great to see the action in there, but I felt like some of it, especially with the gunfighting, some of it could have been a little bit less. And I think it would have had a bigger impact of it, but I did still think it was enjoyable. So I'll go into the highs for me. The highs for me, the action was enjoyable. A lot of times you get these movies and it's a hit or miss. They're not able to do multiple things in that one movie, and they were able to tell a captivating story. They were able to give some humor and jokes with the Atlanta. They captured ATL. they did. I ain't gonna lie, they did, because I heard it. I wasn't shocked. I was like, I might know some people who feel that way.
Yeah.
But I felt like they did a really good job of capturing both those environments, and they gave you action, they gave you drama, they gave you a little bit of comedy, and it gave you a little bit of beautiful women as well. And the lighting was another thing. I talked about BET Sisters. We've got the review for that one. It took them some seasons to get the lighting right and the makeup. I felt like this had it together, especially the outdoor scenes. Just looking at people of color, when you get in different rooms, the lighting for some of these movies is just drastically off. And I thought it was smooth. The sound as well. I just watched a movie on Netflix called The Twigs. and the sounding, mixing, whatever was horrible. This was smooth. The volume for the music, the dialogue, inner room, the sound effects. I thought it was really smooth. And my last one, like Lingo said, was the acting. I thought the acting was really, really good. I was very surprised. The lead, yes, I thought Left Eye. I thought to the point that I would have put this little nugget in, you know, she's being a badass cop and she's sitting there listening to music, whatever. And then she's singing the part from Waterfalls, Believe in Yourself. The rest is up to me. And she's like, what do you want? And then it's like, then she gets back in the character, like, you do look like Left Eye. I would have went with that.
Nice little Easter egg there.
Yeah, that would have got me through the whole movie. One of the bad guys, I'm not gonna say anything. He was dressed like Case or an R&B singer. He was just missing the rain. He had the turtleneck on, looking smooth, and I you know what I'm saying. But like I said, I enjoyed those elements of this movie. Bullet Rush.
Well, let's go ahead and rate this thing. As we do in Critics Collective fashion, we have Accolades going from 0 to 5. 5 being excellent, must watch, highly recommended. 4 Accolades being good, worth watching, but has notable flaws. 3 Accolades, average, some enjoyable moments, but lack significant impact. 2 Accolades, below average, some redeeming qualities. 1 Accolade, poor quality, not recommended, and 0 Accolades is horrible, absolute trash. Dad Panther, sir, how many Accolades you giving us?
I'm going to give you, let's see, I'm going to give you an opportunity to hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. Put something in the description, like whether or not you're checking this movie out, or maybe there's another movie we should check out. We would greatly appreciate that. I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to give it a 3. I enjoyed the cast, the action, very surprised by the lead. And yeah.
I actually, sir, am right there with you. I'm going to give it a 3. I enjoyed it. And the action, as far as the gun violence goes, I thought it was fine. The choreographed fights kind of exposed some stuff, you know, and that's, you know, when you're doing an indie film, the more you do it, you know, the more you risk exposing the limitations to things. If they, you know, if they gave us more of that gunplay, more of that action, I probably would have given it a little higher, but it was still a fun ride. I enjoyed it. And of course, the quality of the production, the sound, everything. I thought it was good. So a 3 for me. So this is Bullet Rush, which again, now is currently, you can watch it. If you have Amazon Prime Video, you can watch it for free with your subscription. Go watch it, then come back in the comments. Let us know what you thought about it. Let us know how many accolades you're going to give it. If you don't have a subscription, it's available to rent. And if that's not your jam, no judgment here. This is a safe space. Just give it some time and you'll be able to see it on Tubi. And then we'll let you know when that drops. We'll definitely be following this film because I'm interested to see how well it does. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Critics Collective. Again, this was Bullet Rush. I'm Legacy Lingo. This is the Dad Panther, and we will see you on the next one.